Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of The Hidden Agenda. We are here tonight at Gordon Wilderidge's headquarters, campaign headquarters. If you're not here, it's right across the street from Los Portales, the old Jitters building. We got a packed house in here, boy. There's some damn good food. And I hope I don't get kicked out like the mayor threatened me one time before for using that D word. Anyway, we're here to talk with Gordon a little bit more. This is his second interview on The Hidden Agenda. We're going to see if we can get some information out there and for you guys here, ask some questions. In addition, we got quite a few other candidates in the audience. I think I've seen probably 5 or 6 here. So if anybody else wants to jump in, we're going to let these candidates pop up there. And if anybody in the audience wants to come up here and ask questions, we're going to give them the same opportunity. So anyway, I'm going to introduce you here to Alderman Gordon Ridge, who is actually running for mayor.
Correct. That's exactly
I'll let him give you a little spill.
Hey, I'd like to thank everybody tonight that's tuning in. I especially like to thank everybody that's come out tonight and enjoyed with us as fellowship so we could talk about the issues that we have at hand and what can be done or not done. And I greatly appreciate them coming out and showing support, and also to be able to ask questions so we can see what's on their mind and what needs to be done and what we need to do in our fair city.
All righty. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to jump into questions here. This is our second go around of questions, and I'm going to tell you we're going to be we're going to get a little more, dig a little deeper here. And this is going to be based off of stuff that we've seen from citizens chiming in on post. The poll that we put up the other day, asking where people's major concerns are at, and we're going to go from there. So, first question I'm going to ask you: property taxes. The big question everybody's got is, will you raise property taxes?
I am not for raising property taxes. I just flat out tell you that we're going to work with what we got. We're going to work within our means. And what we're going to do is show fiscal responsibility. We can do this without raising property tax. And like I said, I pledged on the last podcast that we are $497,000 short. And I'm going to find a way somehow that we're going to be at a zero balance when we have the end of the year. And we're not going to dig into that rainy day fund.
All righty. The next thing that people are a little upset about are the utility rates. And I don't know, have you got your utility bill for this month yet?
My wife has got one, and she's hot. There's no doubt about that. She is hot, and everybody I went out on the campaign trail is hot. Some of them sympathize and understand that the weather has been hot and you expect it to go up some, but not what they've seen. And they are very, very upset. And I don't know what we can do, but we are going to dig into it just like everything else. We're going to sit down and see where we can cut a few corners, and if there's anything we can take out of that to lower the rates, we're going to.
All righty. Next question I'm going to pop up here for you. on the first time you came on, you brought up about having building an event center, having an industrial ready building for outside industry,
Right.
any company looking moving here. And there was one other thing too. I can't remember what the heck it was. I'm gonna have to go back and check.
Community center for the elderly.
Is that something that you're looking at doing in your first term here, and where's the money going to come from?
All right. First thing is I'd like to lay the groundwork because it's vital that we do get an event center, because without that event center, we'd have no place to go. The people had anything to do in this county, we have to go out of county, and we're going to work with the county. We're going to sit down and put our heads together. And I don't know how we're going to raise the money right yet, but I understand that there are multiple ways to do it, and not just from taxes, but also donations and people having events to raise money and work together to do this. Once we get a building put in place, it will generate revenue that we can get by having events there that we can charge for, and it will go around all year long. Most of all, we'd like to have a senior citizen in that thing, so they have a place to go and hold their events and have a place to share fellowship with their elderly citizens. And the last and most important is I'd like to have it where it would be stormproof, a certain section of it, so we'd have a place, a tornado, in case of bad weather, that they could come to and feel safe. Now, that is what I like to accomplish. Can I get it done in my first term? I don't know, but we are going to set work on it right out the barrel.
All right. So you're not going to have to raise property taxes to get this done.
I'm not looking to raise the property tax for anything right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look where we can trim our budget, save money, and that's what my ultimate goal is. I understand the way this thing works. I truly understand it's got to be shaved some, and I think that's what we need to do first.
Okay, well, I guess that will answer a lot of the questions that I've seen floating around. Is, they're concerned about spending and getting deeper into debt. But what you're going to do is you're actually going to start trimming it up some.
Yes, sir, I'm going to trim some. Now, they're going to ask me where I'm going to trim some. I'm going to trim some from every department, not just one. Everybody's going to give a little bit so we can get this thing back where it needs to be. And that's what my ultimate goal is ask the department is to sit down and put their heads together, and we're going to have more meetings and figure out what we need to do. But we're going to work this thing out. And especially, I don't want them coming in every time we have a board meeting, and all they want to talk about is how much extra money we got in so we can give a raise, how much we can give out to the employees. I truly understand that they want to talk about that. I would like them to come in and have a discussion how we can balance the budget and trim some of it off without going and sitting around talking about raises all the time. It seems like every meeting, that's all they want to talk about is what the department gets, how much money they get, and frankly, I think they've all got enough right now. I think we can work well what we got, and we just need to trim in some areas.
I like to hear that. Transparency. A lot of people complain about transparency.
All right, I'm going to tell you right off the bat. The way we're going to hold these meetings, I'm going to ask them to do it if I'm elected right off the bat. What we're going to do is we're going to send a notice out a week in advance of what the agenda is going to be on Monday night. We're not going to send it out after the meeting. We're going to send it out a week ahead so all the people can put it in the paper what the agenda is so all the people can see it, all the aldermen can see it and know what it is. If they don't have input into it, they'll have time to do it, and has any questions about what's going on, it will. If there's anything gets added new to it, we're going to push it to the next month. We're not going to go ad hoc all the time, every time we go up there, putting stuff in, and we're going to know what we're discussing, why we're discussing, and what we're dealing with. So the citizens have just as much input, and the aldermen have a little more time to realize what they're doing.
All righty. Let's see here. Let me get back down here to some of the other things that was brought up in this poll. I'll tell you, I'm getting old. I'm falling behind on this stuff here. All righty. Pay raises. Employee pay raises. Now, I'm going to tell you, I went back in, and I was able to get all the figures from, let me see here, let me pull this here up, and the pay raises that they've had. Let me get it back up here. I'm going to read this here to you so you can hear about where the raises have been. Where is it at? Bear with me, people. I'm trying to. There we go. There it is. It's right here. Okay. All righty. Fiscal year 21, 2.8%. Fiscal year 22, 2.9%. Fiscal year 23, 5.9%. Fiscal year 24, 8.7%. Fiscal year 25, 5%. And we got 2.5% going in for this fiscal year. That's coming close to 4.5 this year?
Well, you got two.
We got 2% that got caught up.
You got two that get caught up, and they got an extra 2.5 on top of that.
So we're looking at, when we get down to it, somewhere around about over 28% since fiscal year 21 in raises. Are we at a point where we don't need to worry about raises for a while?
I think that we're quite at a level that we don't need raises for a while. I know they're all going to jump up and run sideways and saying that I'm anti-raise. What I am is anti-raising property tax. And if all the issue is we're going to raise property tax to give raises, I am not for doing any property tax increase for raises. Every time they talk about what they're going to do, let me ask you a real simple question. All right, so what we do is we give all these raises, but the bottom line to it, they come and say, instead of talking about raises, do they talk about what we really need to do, the roads, what we need to do, some drainage problems, what can we do, street lights, everything we do, a senior citizen place, a event center, all these things we need affordable housing. I mean, I can name a list of things long as your legs we need, but it seems like every time we have a board meeting, the main issue is somebody's underpaid, somebody's not getting enough money, somebody's going to leave if they don't get so much money. We can't keep no employees if we don't raise the money, we don't give them benefits. Well, let me tell you something, folks. We have topped out. We have topped out as far as we need, and what we need to do is take that money now and start putting it out where the citizens can see it, use it, and know what we're doing with it instead of talking about raises all the time. Now, I'm not anti-raise, but right now I think for a while we're going to have to cool it on raises and sit down and talk about what we're really going to do with the money. I know that's going to hurt some people's feelings, but let me tell you what, I'm a straight talk fella. I might as well tell you what I'm going to do, tell you what I intend to do, so there won't be no surprises when I get there. I don't want no surprises, so when you vote for me, you know what I'm fixing to do, and I'm not backing down from what I'm saying.
All righty. I've got some questions that we've popped up a little bit in here in the past, but I'm going to take and there's one I thought was kind of funny, and I'm going to actually go ahead and ask that there. Let me get this here open right quick. Sorry, I'm trying not to keep so many things open where our internet's not the best. So we're trying to make sure we're not overloading our system too much. As mayor, and this one is going to crack you up, would you write an executive order to keep Alderman Tim Rhodes on the board for the remainder of his term?
I don't think it's legal. But would I do it? I would if I could, but I don't think it's legal.
Just to give you guys some heads up on that there, Alderman Tim Rhodes, which I'm sure you've seen him up on the podcast before, he is actually building a house out in the county, right outside the city on Timberlake Road. So Timberlake Wilderidge Road, I think it's Connor Lane, is it?
I think it is.
He's having to build a handicap house, and unfortunately, sometime probably late fall, early winter, we're gonna lose Alderman Rhodes on the board. So we're just that was kind of thrown up there as a fun question to ask. We're certainly going to miss him on the board. He's done an outstanding job of representing the citizens. All right, getting back into these things here. Let's get back to these questions. Since you've started campaigning and you've been out talking with people, what are their major issues?
Issue number one, when I talk to the people, is they want to know, are we going to raise the tax rate? That's the first question out of 90% of the people I talk to. The second thing they want to know is they want to know what I'm going to do to be sure that we don't raise that tax. Well, I've plainly stated tonight what I'm going to do. We're going to take our money and we're going to spend it wisely. And when I ask somebody that keeps the books, when I ask the question, I want an honest answer about the money. I want to see the figures, and I want to do the math myself. I don't want somebody telling me what the math is. I'm going to do the math so I'll know if we got the money, if we hadn't got the money, and where the money is going. I'll give you a good example. There's $100,000 short in the gas fund. But here's the thing about it is, so they had a budget. Say the budget's let's say it's $3 million. But all of a sudden we're $100,000 short. So first month, so what are they doing? They just keep spending the money. We get out of the last month, we're $100,000 short. Well, surely to God, you would notice as you went along, you was losing money. So what you need to do is, once you get into 2 or 3 months and you see you're getting less money and you're spending more, the adjustment needs to be made. I don't call that good bookkeeping if you don't do that. If you don't watch what your purse has got and what you're going to spend and what you got to spend, then you're not watching what you're doing. And I think that's one thing that we're going to have to be a lot closer attention at.
All righty. Well, we know where you are with pay raises, hiring freezes.
I'm all in for hiring freeze. Wouldn't bother me a bit. I think we could get by with a hiring freeze for a whole year, and I don't think it'd affect us in any way.
All righty. Well, we got down here nepotism.
Nepotism? We have a nepotism policy. I don't really think it's what we need the way it's set up, but it's hard to change it because the votes are stacked mainly to vote what they want. It's just a play on words. They'll change a word or two here and there to make it sound better, but it's still the same old thing. It really hasn't changed much since it's been started. But we will get an effective nepotism policy, and if I have a board that will support it, we're going to change the nepotism policy.
All righty. The current city election. I've heard a lot of things and I don't know, and you may have more information on it. From what I understand, I know we used to be aldermen used to be elected by wards, and that got changed. And from what I was told, it was on a public referendum. So the public wanted to go to an at-large election.
Right.
A true at-large election is right now we got 3 alderman seats up. So if there's 10 candidates, the top 3 vote getters would each win a seat.
That's what it should be, but what they did, the board somehow, after it was done, they voted that they would still have to run to represent some ward. In other words, they felt like that if they didn't do that, the people feel like they didn't have somebody representing them. Well, and that's the way they looked at it. So if you pick up, you got to do it. Well, that ain't what the citizens voted for. The citizens actually voted for at large, and I've had several people discuss this with me, and even some of the aldermen have talked about it. That it should be that if you got 10 people running, the 3 highest vote getters would get the 3 spots. And I'm inclined to believe that that's the way it should be, and there'll be no confusion that way when you vote, because you can pick 3 names, and that's what you get to do. Otherwise, you got to go down each ward and pick a candidate out of the ward, and I don't really think that's doing fair to the people and the candidates, because it is confusing. But if you just say pick 3, then that's the way it'd be. I think that's the way it should be, and I don't know if it can be changed back or not, but I would like to look into it.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if that would have to require a referendum vote or since...
Well, it got put back to doing a ward deal where you did that, even though everybody could vote for each ward. So I guess it can be done local. I mean, I'm not knowing for sure, but I guess it could be, but that's what happened.
Yeah, all right. Yeah,
that's a legal question. I'd have to ask somebody. I mean, I know what it says and what they're doing, but I'd have to ask the legal question that we could do that.
Yeah, because I don't know. I mean, if it was voted on a certain way, but it never came about, but I would think that if that was voted on, doesn't that still have to go through the legislature to be?
Well, I don't think the legislature is clear. I think it would be what the legal action or what we would do as a board to reinitiate it, and we have the status to do that. If we can, then that's what we should do. If, I say if now, that's the way the aldermen want to see it. I don't get to vote on this, but that's the alderman's issue, because that's what's going to do. It's going to decide. They got to understand what's going to happen to them. So they're the ones going to make this decision, not me.
And I think that that's the fair way to go about it, because right now the way it is people can. We all know that there's division. One group can take and put who they want to go against. They can pick their own candidate to go against a candidate they oppose. It's true, and what it is, it's a political struggle or political battle more than it is representing the citizens.
Well, the qualifications to me is very, very high on the list. And I think that the way it's set up right now, being the wards and what it is, then what you do, you actually have I don't know it and say it in a bad way, but you have the good old boy against this good old boy and that good old boy against that good old boy. But what you should be voting on is the people qualified to do the job. And if you've got 10 candidates, you should be able to pick the 3 that you want to do the job. And that's the way I think the referendum stated when they voted that in. And I think that's what they need to go back to.
All right, agreed on that. Definitely agreed on that. All righty, let's get here to the next question. If elected, what are your 3 top priorities?
First priority is making sure that we do not raise our property taxes to fulfill anything that we're working on right now. The second thing is to be sure that we spend the money allocated and we don't overspend, and we look at every way we can to reduce the amount of our spending. And number 3, actually 3 and 4 go together. I would like to look at so we could get some freshwater wells dug because of our water condition, and our sewer is another problem we got to work out, and it's going to come to fruition very long, so we're going to have to work on that. That's probably the top 3 or 4 priorities, but 3 and 4 are together.
All right. Debt service analysis. We're in a lot of debt. Would you be open to, or how would you address the debt? Would you look at having an outside firm coming to look at it, or would you just sit down like a businessman and actually say, this is what we need to do?
I don't need no outside firm working my debt analysis. I do debt analysis. I've been doing it for 30 years. I don't understand. It's a real simple thing. How much money have you got, what your debt is, and how soon I can pay it off. And for God's sake, you don't want to make no more debt till you get some of it paid down. It's pretty simple. What we want to do is see what our total debt is. We're going to see what length of time we have to pay this off. We have ample funds to do it, and be sure that we do not fulfill our debt obligation to anybody that we have borrowed, any bond, anything. But what we want to do is that will be priority number 1 in what we do with our money.
All right. Well, that definitely answers that one there. We've got, and this is something that's been brought up here in pretty much the last 24 hours. We got a lot of hires that aren't qualified. I don't know how else to say this here, but I'm just going to go ahead and spit it out. We have a fire chief that's, to my knowledge, has never been a firefighter. Now, granted, we're paying half for that salary, but we're still paying half for someone with no experience. We've got an assistant public works director we've never had in the past. And what experience in public works does that person have? And I can go back in history and look at things here and different things. What are we going to do moving forward to make sure that we bring in qualified people from department heads down to the basic workers coming in?
You have a job description that all these people should fill. And when I say a job description, it's what they should be qualified to do to fill that job. I think the job descriptions of all the people that we're going to hire or what we're going to do for any job, we should put that. Jack's waving at you there. He's something wrong. And he said, anyway, what I'm talking about is that what we got to do is be sure that the job description fits the job, and we hire the qualified people that fit that. Now, I understand they want to. What they like to do is they like to split the departments up. They say they're saving money. Did they actually save money? No, I don't think they saved anything. I mean, they show it on paper they saved something, but not really. If you want to save money, you would just eliminate that position, let one guy take care of both of them. That's the way you save money. And quite frankly, I don't know if the qualifications are the sole reason why you should hire that person, because sometimes when you're looking at a person's ability to do it, you have to look at his past track record, where he worked and what he done, and I think that's viable in whatever somebody does.
All righty. All right, well, that's pretty much what I've got. And heck, there's some questions I had that you already answered in there. We do have some comments coming up here, so let me get down in here and see what we got here, because I got some. Boom, boom, boom. All righty. I'm not sure what to tell you there, Vivian, on the background noise. We've got a full crowd in this place, and it is. They're talking and having a good time, but that's not a big issue.
Sherry.
All right.
Hold down the noise. Okay, just go around the table and tell them. You just tell
All righty. Alderman Jack Johnson has got a comment here. The board voted for by position in 2007 or 2008. So what you're saying is the board didn't vote for an at-large election. They voted for a by-position election. Is that what the citizens voted on? Jack, you want to come up? Come on up.
Come on up here. Let Jack was there. I was not. So he needs to ask. Ask him. Sit down right there, Jack.
Have a seat, Jack.
I mean, this is open forum.
That's right. I'm going to pop in right here, Jack. Okay. And we got Alderman Jack Johnson, well, Commissioner Jack Johnson, former Alderman, and actually running for Alderman again. Right.
Position 4.
Position 4. Go ahead and explain what you were talking about.
Okay. This you were talking about the at-large position. The board, either in 2007 or 2008, the voters voted about 2-1 to go to at-large voting. That if it was 2007 or 2008, they voted to go at-large by position, and they split the terms. We went from about 23 to 2,400 people voting in each election back to about 800 or 900. We had 5,500 registered voters then, and we've got probably a little bit over 4,900 now.
All right. Well, I guess that explains it some. So are we set up? Is our election set up like as the citizens want it in the referendum vote?
No, it was voted to go at large. The mayoral candidate and originally the 7 before the terms were split, the 7 people that got the most votes would be our alderman. In fact, the first time I ran for alderman in 2009, I lost, but I got more votes than an alderman running in another position. But that alderman won because they were running in another position.
Gotcha. Well, that explains a lot now. And is that something that you would look at trying to get corrected, even if it has to come to another referendum vote?
Right. If it calls for a referendum vote, but I don't think it really calls for a referendum vote. I think the board can decide that.
Yes.
I really think they can. And there you go again. The aldermen should be the ones that decide that. They put it this way, and they should be the ones that change it back. I don't have a vote, but I would voice strong support for it. But I think the aldermen should be able to put it back like it was.
If I get elected, that'll be one of the things I will make a motion to do.
All right. All right. Well, let me see here. I'm getting another question up here. I'll let you read that there, and I'm gonna let you handle that if you want to address it or not.
JoJo and the Little League Mafia. What is your opinion? I don't have an opinion about the Little League Mafia. Here's the thing about it is we support the Little League, and we understand that a lot of the children that come up here and play Little League come from the county. Under no circumstances do we want to alienate any kid from coming up here and playing. The only thing we want them to understand is the money that we put out and we use to keep that park going is coming out of our tax dollars. And we want them to be understanding of what we're willing to do and what we try to do, but at the same time is we're going to do it based on the amount of money we have. I quite frankly think that the county should help, and they should put some part of the money into it, but they're not willing to really do that. I don't understand how to fix that, but we will not, and I repeat, we will not let our little kids go without us helping them.
All righty. Well, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to see if anybody in the audience has any questions for
Okay.
you. I'm going to take and come over here and mute my mic for just 1 second. Does anybody in the audience have any questions they'd like to ask? Come on up here, grab a seat. Come on.
Don't be embarrassed, Jack. Come up here.
That's right, Jack came up
Anybody
here.
got a question, a comment?
If we let Jack come up here, we let anybody come up here.
Y'all welcome to.
Does any candidates want to step up? Have a seat. Come in here and talk. Talk with the people. Talk with Gordon.
You want Donnie? You want to say something?
You want to pop on?
Come on.
All righty, we got
Hey, it's open. This is all.
Donna Ross, Alderman, is running for. She's a candidate for Alderman position 4.
Yeah, well, we just want everybody to have their say.
We got cameras. We sure do. Look at this. Gordon, what a fantastic turnout you've had tonight. Lots and lots of folks. I appreciate the opportunity. I appreciate you inviting us all to come.
Hey, look, that's what this is about. We all got to work together.
Absolutely.
We all got to achieve the same goal, and that's what we're doing here. That's why we're running. That's what we want to do, and I want everybody to understand when we have these meetings up here, that's what this is for. So we all sit down and discuss it, and that's what we're all trying to accomplish. And I want every voter out there to understand that that's what we are trying to achieve, and we're working hard for them.
Absolutely. James, how are you?
I can't complain. I'm not doing good anyway. April's keeping me well. Actually, Bobby Ricketts gave me a big plate tonight.
Yes.
Food is outstanding.
Did you try those pinwheels his wife made?
I did.
Ooh, those things are fantastic.
This man makes a hell of a hot dog. I can tell you. Yeah, food's outstanding.
Absolutely.
You can tell I don't miss my meals. I am going to quote your neighbor.
My neighbor. That's right. See Herb, he's in Alaska. He was eating ice cream at 10 o'clock last night. I saw on Facebook. It's like, wow. Yeah, if y'all don't follow Chris Herbis on Facebook, you're missing the best food critic around.
He's a hoot, that's for sure.
He's a hoot.
Yeah. Anything you want to share about help yourself?
Well, just want to say thank you to the people of Lexington for being so gracious and offering the cold water on these hot days and inviting me in to cool down just a little bit, and just for their involvement and their participation. I believe that people are truly wanting a change in our city, and I think they're all going to go vote, James. I really do.
I think they are too. I think we're going to have a much bigger turnout. I'd love to see what Jack was saying it used to be. That blows my mind how it changed that dramatically. That is crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah, hopefully we can get a change going.
sure hope so.
Anything else you want to share with us?
I'm used to you asking me questions, James.
Hey,
Usually not that bad.
this is impromptu. You just have
This
to
is
go with
improv.
it.
I guess the biggest thing I want the people to know is that we are facing a critical moment. I mean, this is critical. And we're approaching $60 million in debt with a town of 8,000 people. And that's just not sustainable. It's just not sustainable. And so we've got to have physically responsible people, cutting waste, looking at our budgets, planning, having a long-range plan for our city. We've just got to look at our finances from a business standpoint. Would you not agree with that, Gordon?
100%.
100%.
110%, really.
That's
I do.
no argument here.
No, I think you hit the nail right on the head.
Yeah.
We got to get back to that, and we can't be every time we go to a meeting we can't sit and discuss how much extra money we got so we can give raises.
So we can spend it.
So we can spend it. Now we need to understand what that money's for, and how hard these taxpayers have done to give us that money, and we need to be wisely in how we spend it.
Absolutely. We have to be wise in how we are spending their dollars.
I have nothing, no animosity against the city employees. I want the city employees to understand that
Absolutely.
we respect their position, we respect what they do for the city, but what they also have to understand is that these people have made this money and they have paid it in taxes to us, and we as a board should be wisely and prudent in how we spend these tax dollars, and it can't be just because somebody got something and they want something to go with it.
That's right.
Different.
And I want to build on that, Gordon. I was out knocking on doors last week, And I had a lady, and she was fired up now. She said, Donna, I had a problem out here on a Saturday, and there was all these trucks and all these people, and I'm trying to be positive. And I said, well, I'm so glad they showed up on a Saturday. And she said, well, I am too. She said, but there was 2 of them working and 5 of them standing. And I said, well, okay, now let's think about that a minute. Those boys were on call. Had they not showed up, they would have been in a lot of trouble come Monday morning. Right. And the biggest thing is you would have been in a lot of trouble had they not showed up. So I think our city employees sometimes are getting a bad rap. You know, if there's 7 of them on call and 7 of them are sent, you know, maybe we need a lead man on that side that says, okay, it's going to take 3 of us. You other 4 go on back to your families and enjoy your Saturday.
I agree.
You know,
what it does is just take a little coordination, a little common sense, and things will work.
Absolutely. But it's not the city employees' fault that they're doing their job. They're on call and they're showing up. Right. You know, so I agree with you. I think sometimes they're getting thrown under the bus a little bit sometimes when they're just really trying to do their jobs.
Yeah.
All righty, we got another question come up. Switch this here for just a second. All right, this one here. The city pays the fire department to do animal control, and they are not a no-kill. We all know that the fire department or animal control post after 10 days if an animal's not picked up, it can be euthanized. And let me refresh this here again just to explain this. The city's paying the fire department to do animal control. That's not no-kill, while the Hensley Center is a no-kill, but they're suffering. Why couldn't the city not partner with the Hensley Center and hire someone to do animal control or expand their facilities?
Which center are you talking about?
The Francis Hensley Center, the animal shelter.
You won't take that? I'll take it. I don't mind taking it one bit. Did y'all see? I guess y'all read the article in the paper about their kind of financial situation right now. There's an issue with the way she put that. I won't call it what the shelter is. The way she posted, the way she wanted to be run, and mixing dogs and cats and certain things. They built the facility a certain way, and it don't accommodate for everything we need. I agree with what we need to do, but what we also need to do is sit down and work with them and see if we can add on to that thing and make it a facility where it will accommodate both sides and do this, and at the same time give them money, but let them be the one that does the animal control instead of us doing it ourselves personally. I'd be for that. I'd be for enlarging it and enhancing it, and I'd be for them taking care of the animal control, and that would take the burden off of our back and let them handle it. That's what we should be doing.
I would tend to agree with that. I've served on that board at one time. Animal lover here, a big animal lover.
I love my dog.
Me too. I'm a big animal lover, and I think, you know, James and I talked about this on our first podcast. I think that there's other ways as far as some volunteer groups that are all across the country where we could maybe get involved with those to maybe put part of our overpopulation. They would bus them and fly them to all over the country.
Well, I don't think we have anybody that's really taking the lead on it.
That's exactly right.
We need somebody that's going to lead this charge, whether it be the mayor or the alderman or whatever it is, but somebody has to lead this charge. And I don't mind leading it. I don't mind let there looking and doing some investigating and see what we need to do, but also sit down with the animal shelter and see what they're willing to do and tell them what we can do and present a plan. We don't have a plan. They don't have a plan. We need to just work it out and try to do that. And I think it's vital that we do this. And it is. It's a top priority we need to do. And I'd be willing to work on it as hard as I can.
Absolutely.
I'm going to chime in a little bit on this here because I was kind of, I don't know if I'm going to say partly responsible for the change in the city's process of animal control. August 21, I believe it was, is when the existing animal control officer was Brandon McPeak. His contract was expiring. We had problems with strays around our shop. Specifically, we had stray cats getting under our building. Somebody had busted a lock, popped open the door, and we had a flea problem. And, you know, we spent thousands of dollars getting the problem addressed, but we finally did get it addressed. And then once we got to that point, we were okay, but we tried to work with animal control and things didn't happen, so we went in front of the board and talked about it. And then next thing I know, the board is not renewing the contract and decided to bring it in-house. Was it Dylan Bailey, I think, was the guy that was sent to Georgia to be got trained?
I'm sorry, I don't know which one was sent down there, but I know somebody was trained in this, and we had to be able to do what we're doing. And be quite honest, I think they do an admirable job as far as going and get them and doing the control. It's the issues after we have them is where the issue pops up, what we're dealing with here.
Right. And just so everybody knows, the following year, I don't remember what happened exactly that changed, but at the time, Fire Chief Doug Acre had come in front of the board and wanted to hire 3 additional firefighters, and those firefighters would do dual purpose.
Right.
They were going to do animal control and be a firefighter at the same time. And eventually, that kind of, I don't know how it's.
I don't think they want to do that. I think they wanted one person dedicated, and that's what they want to do. They can still fight fire, but they wanted one person to be dedicated for that job. I don't think that they had enough people willing to step up and do that, and I think that's what stopped it.
Right. And in August of last year is when the change happened. Before that, the city had approved. I think it was $24,000 for vet services, and I know $18,000 of that was going to Doc Davis. He was getting $1,500 a month.
Right.
And what ended up happening was sometime August 1st of last year, everything changed. The dogs stopped going to Doc Davis, and they started going to the shelters down there at the waste treatment plant.
I don't know what happened. We was told the reason was that he was moving out of town. I mean, there's all kind of reasons been told why it happened, but really what was the reason, I really don't know. I'm honest, I don't. Never really fully understand what it was. But it all goes back to what you're talking about. It's like a ball that everybody been juggling around, and they don't want to deal with it. And I think that's kind of where we're still at right now.
Right. Yeah. It's definitely, man, there's definitely something that needs to be addressed, and appreciate the question there. Anything else you want to add, Donna?
I just want to say that in this upcoming election, every vote is going to count, every single one. I was talking at the table a while ago. This has been a long time ago. I had a good friend that ran on the county commission, and I always early vote. I'm an early voter. It's just easy, and that's what I do. And so Brent would ask me every day. He early votes first day. Like he's done, he goes and early votes. He'd ask me every day, you early voted? You early voted? No, I was busy. I said, I'll do it tomorrow. Well, driving from Jackson that day, it's election day. I still have not voted. It's like 5:30. Well, I'm supposed to be at this fella's house that night. We were having a little dinner, a little get-together, going to listen to the election results. And I thought, I cannot not vote and go over there. I go to vote. It didn't take me long. We get to his house that night. They called the election results. You know what he won that race by? One vote. One vote. So when Brent ran for school board years ago, this was first year years ago the school board was appointed by the governor. It wasn't an elected position. So the first year when it became to where you could run, our child was small, first, second grade. He ran for school board. You know how many votes he won the school board with? 2. Every vote matters.
Yeah.
Every vote matters. So please, Lexington, get out there and vote. 431-0373. If anybody's got questions for me, please call me. Glad to talk with you. Again, Gordon, thank you for the invitation. You have had a wonderful crowd here tonight, and
Thank you.
lots of candidates here. And this is great because all the candidates, we've sat down at the tables together and eat, and it's what a republic's supposed to be.
Exactly.
What it's supposed to be.
Right.
What it's supposed to be. So I appreciate that, Gordon. Thank you.
Hey, I appreciate everybody coming out. I really do.
All righty. Well, let me do a last call here. Anybody else have any questions they want to ask? Last call.
Rick, you want to come up here?
All righty. Now's the time to ask it. All righty, we got some people coming up.
You
Come
got a
on, have
question,
seat over
Cindy?
here.
No, I didn't ask you all the questions I needed. Didn't ask you all of them.
All right.
Well, I guess we ain't got no takers. If that's the case, huh? We're going to go ahead and shut this down, boy. This is we're making sure.
Hey, I would like to say something. If you
All
don't
right.
mind. Before we shut down, I would like to say something to everybody listening tonight and everybody up here. And
There you go. There's your question.
there's your question right there. Mr. Jimmy Weaver.
My question.
Oh, what is that?
No more taxes.
No more taxes. Hey, I'm with I'm with on that. I'm with him on that. No more taxes. Listen, I do want everybody to truly understand what Donna was saying a while ago. It is vital. It's very important that everybody get out and vote. You know, you think one vote don't make a difference, but sometimes it does. And I'd like for people to come out and vote and support all the candidates because this is what this thing's about. Uh-oh, we got a question
All
here.
righty, hold on. We
Yes,
got
sir,
a-
got a question.
I worked with the water department for 31 years. Come up through where we didn't, where we had the budget balanced and didn't spend a whole lot of extra money. Toward the end, I was a manager and then I was superintendent. Every year they offered to buy me a new truck, and I would tell them no. There was nothing wrong with the truck I was driving. Now don't get me wrong, we need a lot of good equipment up there. We don't need to work with junk like when I first went to work up there. But I think they went overboard with spending on these new trucks. And I'm wondering what we're going to do about that because the spending has got out of control at the city.
I agree.
Well, I agree with you 100%. And what you want about what we're going to do? We're going to have to park some of those trucks and quit driving them all over the town just for everybody's got a truck. They're all riding somewhere in it. They take them home with it. We need to be a little bit more fruitful or with our vehicles and what we do and get extended life out of them, and we don't need to buy any right now. I think we can go for a while without being in person. We got a few pieces of equipment that's getting old, but outside of that, our fleet is pretty doggone good and pretty new. I don't think we have to spend any for the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, as far as when I first went up there, we worked with junk. We really did. I mean, and they needed to improve the equipment. But once they started buying new trucks every year, the guy that was over the utilities at that time got a new truck every year. And he probably put 5,000 miles on it a year, but every year he got a new truck. You know, that's wasteful in my opinion.
Yeah, we need to put a mileage like you need to drive it 50,000 miles or 75,000 miles before we do anything with it. Just buying one every year to get a new truck and do 5,000 miles, that's ridiculous. So we could put a mile limit on it or a time limit on it. Probably have to have both because sometimes the time might run out before the miles do. But we could do that to push the use and life out of these vehicles.
If the departments would, they could cut a lot. If they would get in there, they could cut a lot. If they could, and that's what that needs to be done. The department heads need to be cutting instead of wasteful spending.
You ain't got no argument for me there. I mean, I see it constantly. I looked at the salaries for just the general fund, and I just had question marks and how we have almost as many chiefs as we do Indians.
I agree.
You know, that there's an issue. You know, that balance should be a whole lot different.
Yes.
You know, and you know, and I'm gonna tell you, I talk to some of the employees. I mean, they have faith enough for me to contact me because they know I'm never going to disclose who they are. When they call, you know, we've got some really, really fine people working this city. I mean, some really good people.
We do. We got good people. Yeah.
And
We've
we've got a couple of bad apples in the barrel.
always have.
And that's, you know, to me, when you give somebody a pay raise and the guy right next to you who's not working that hard is getting the same raise you are, that's demoralizing. And you know, and this here falls back to me, not on the board, because it's not the board's job to manage the people. It falls back on the department.
Right.
dropping the ball there.
Department heads should be out there making the people do what they're supposed to do. You know, that's their job, and they need to be more involved in that. Not just send them out and let them piddle around all day. They need to make sure they're doing their job on a timely basis. You know, and that's.
You know, and I think if we had some kind of measurement of that, we might find we don't need all the people that we have.
True. True.
I don't know how you feel about that, but
No, I think we got to have a measure and understand what we get and what we pay for. We always have a measure. You know, you have work orders. I'd be willing to look and see how many work orders we get per day and how much actually time we spend on those. And that's the way it works, isn't it? Don't they do work orders?
Yeah, we do work orders.
They fill them out and then what they do.
They hand them out like the guy that hands out the work orders in the morning, he will give them a work order.
Right.
He'll assign each one a work order. They'll go out and get it done. Some of them go to the office and get several work orders that they can do, like cut off a meter, lock off a meter, stuff like that. But it goes through work orders. And when I was there, most of the time, the work was done and done on time. You know, we might have could have cut a worker or two, but our flushing, our water flushing, I don't think is up to par. We need, you might want to look at flushing those systems out, because when you get to these dead ends, the water will stagnate if you don't keep the water flushed. And I think our flushing system is not up to par. When I was like, before I became manager, we didn't even have a flushing. They said the fire department was flushing the water lines when they were testing the fire lines. That was a flush. And then the state requires you to flush the water lines.
Right.
You know, so it takes several to get your water lines flushed. So you may not have too many employees.
I got you.
It just has to be looked at.
Right.
well, you know, I'm going to add on to what you were saying there. And I may be step on toes, I can step on toes. From what I've been told from people on the inside, we used to have two flushers. And something's happened and we don't have those two flushers anymore. And now we have one flusher. And that person is not doing the, I don't think they're doing the work that we did one of the previous ones. And you're right. That's where the brown water that came about, that's where all that came from, was from the lines not being flushed. It had nothing to do with the lake turning on, because it just wasn't simply enough water to make that happen. You're right, and that's a department head's job to understand that that's where my problem is, and I need to address it and get it fixed. Yes. And if somebody's not doing the job, and what I question is, if you had two, and you're down to one, where's the money from the salary that the one person is gone? You should have the money already in your budget to rehire somebody in that position.
I don't know. I just think probably what they done is transfer that somebody from the flush and do something else. Is probably what they done.
They probably did.
Instead of them, the money.
The thing about it, they don't realize how important that flushing is. That flushing job is very important. It's the lifeline of your water.
And mainly it's because the dead end lines. Is that right?
Right. Dead end lanes, and you got like the airport. The new airport that built out there, we could not keep that water, chlorine in that water. We could not do it. We could flush it, we could not do it. So I ended up going to getting the state up here, and we come up with a system where we put a meter and just let it run. And then we would go read that meter and know how much it flushed through that line, but it kept chlorine at the new airport out there. So there's ways that you can do it, but you got to get state approval on a lot of stuff.
That makes sense. Give me just 1 second here. All righty, got a couple comments. Hey there, Brandon. You're certainly welcome, brother. I guess kind of miss you at animal control. I mean, it's not what it used to be. Amanda, yes, carpooling, outstanding suggestion. And this is, I'll let y'all kind of address this here. If you're going out to work on a line saying Westover, and you're sending 6 people out, you don't need 6 vehicles to drive out there to do the job.
No, I agree.
And that's what she's saying. I'll let y'all chime in on that.
When I was there, we would have 2 to a vehicle. We wouldn't send 6 vehicles out there. We would have usually 2 in a vehicle if we were going to go work on a line. And pull the machine. Now, when you're on call on weekends, you may wind up with 2 or 3 vehicles because the first guy will drive his vehicle because he's on call. It's at his house. Then somebody will get the machine, and you might, if you call in somebody else, they may have a vehicle. But that's on call. That's a different situation. But you're right.
If you send somebody out to assess the job before you send somebody out, then you know how many people you need. Just don't send a whole crew out to see what it is. Let somebody go out and assess the job. Once they see what it is, they knows how many people it takes to fix it. So they could coordinate a little bit better if they wanted to.
And that's the way it used to be. The first one that would get the call would go check it out. Then he would call his backup if he needed it.
Right.
Sometimes you didn't even need it.
Right.
Sometimes it was simple as something you didn't need. Then you would call your backup if you needed it, and then if you needed somebody else,
Right.
you'd try to. But there was just 2 on call. But I've been away from up there for 9 or 10 years. I don't really know how they're operating up there now. Really don't know.
Anything else you want to add in there?
Oh, that's it.
Thank you. Appreciate you coming in. Appreciate your comment. Really do.
All righty. Well, I don't know if we got anybody else. I don't see anybody else standing up here, so I guess we're going to finish this thing up, Gordon.
I will.
Anything you want to say in closing comments?
No, I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. I want to thank all the viewers that's listening tonight, and I hope you share this. It's important that we, as a city, turn out and vote, and we get people to represent us or your elected officials that you want to do your bidding for you. And that's what I encourage everyone to do. And thank you, and God bless all.
All righty, everybody. Well, that's going to conclude this episode of the Hidden Agenda. We will see you Monday. We've got Jack Johnson coming on Monday, Donna Ross on Tuesday, and Jimmy White on Thursday. And after that we're going to take a break because ain't nobody campaigning after August 21st. Because everybody's mind's made up pretty much where they're going to be voting on August 22nd. Y'all have a great evening, and we'll catch you on the flip side.